Hello and welcome to the best and possibly the worst day of the Go Prandall Advent. Today I'm going to be making Christmas cupcakes with a little twist at the end. This is going to be a real recipe, so you will be able to make this if you so wish, but I'm hopefully going to try and make it quite enjoyable as well. And I'm going to jump straight in. Here's what you're going to need to make the cupcakes today.
You are going to need 100 grams of self-raising flour from whichever country you like, 100 grams of sugar granulated, 100 grams of room temperature butter, and 2 large eggs. And if you would like to make some chocolate cakes, you can also add some Bourneville powder or even some hot cocoa powder I found in the past. Up to you, but you can also add some vanilla extract, and I will explain later. This should be everything that you have ready to make your cakes.
So I took this recipe off Sorted Food, I'm going to link them below, but the basic premise is for every egg that you use, you're going to want to use 50 grams of butter, sugar and flour. So I'm going to be using 2 eggs, so I'm going to be using 100 grams of each. But first, wash your hands. I've already washed my hands, but we're in a pandemic, wash your hands too. And then we're going to get 100 grams of room temperature butter. Don't know why it has to be room temperature, but that's what they say, so that's what I'm going to do.
Silly Zach forgot to mention as well, now is the time to preheat your oven to 180 degrees, and if you have a fan oven you may want it to be a little bit less than that, but just keep an eye on it. Next you're going to need 100 grams of room temperature butter. Add this to your mixing bowl, and then you're going to measure out 100 grams of sugar, add it to the mixture and really give it a good mix, pushing in the sugar until it looks like this. When it looks like this, you can then add an egg. A good rule of thumb when adding an egg is also to add a spoonful of self-raising flour. I think it just helps the mixture catch it more. And then you're going to want to repeat this with the second egg with another spoonful of flour. Give it a good mix until it looks a little bit something like this.
The idea for this video actually came from a story that I put on my Instagram account at GoPrandall, and my friend Matty replied to it saying you should bake something festive. I'll put it up on screen. So this is actually because of him, so shout out to Matty. I also love making these. I made these about 2 or 3 times now, but that is the main reason. So if you want to go and follow me on GoPrandall, or if you have any other future ideas, please let me know. But next, it's time for the flour.
When you're going to add your flour, you're just going to get 100 grams in a mixing bowl and add it to the mixture and give it a really good mix until it looks a little bit something like this. You're going to want to keep folding over your mixture to add as much air as possible to it. Next, you can add your vanilla extract. They say that by adding vanilla extract, it brings out every other flavour in the icing and just throughout the cake itself. And if you want chocolate cakes, you can add your cocoa powder, but just be sure to not add that much. I really should have measured that out. Then give it a very, very good stir and make sure to get all the mixture from the sides. Yeah, it should look a little bit something like this.
And with everything mixed and ready, and with your oven preheated at 180 degrees, it's time to get your cake cases. Mine are silicone, so I don't have to keep buying hundreds of them. And it's ready to start filling the tins.
You're going to want to make about 6, well that's what the recipe says, but I can often get 9 cakes out of this mixture. And you're going to want to fill them to about the medium point. Anything over this, I think they start to overflow when they're cooking, and it also takes a lot longer to cook, and you end up with burnt tops and soggy bottoms, and nobody wants a soggy bottom. We learnt that very early on Bake Off. Then you're going to want to put your cakes in the oven, and you can get ready on the icing sugar.
So now I've put the cakes in the oven at 180 degrees. They normally take between 10 and 12 minutes, but sometimes in the fan oven they do take 15, but that could be my own personal fault. But like I said earlier, the reason for this video was because I put on my Instagram story asking for some suggestions on videos. A couple of them were about Minecraft. I would love absolutely to do that. As we know, Minecraft is the best game in the world and no one can say otherwise to that. So watch out for a Minecraft tutorial or Minecraft gameplay coming soon. Another response was semen retention strategy. If you don't know what this is, I'd say give it a Google. It works. I'm telling you now, it works. Not going to get too into it on here, but there was a very similar response as well. There was actually quite a few similar responses, and the only thing I've got to say back to that is what you're going to need is a grapefruit. You're going to cut one side, you're going to cut the other side, this sort of the grapefruit method, and you cut a hole in the middle, and what you end up doing is anyway, the cakes are ready to come out now, and now all that's left to do is decorate them with some icing sugar, cream sugar, icing cream. Don't know what the name is, but it tastes good.
You're going to want to get 150 grams of butter this time, and you're going to get 300 grams of icing sugar. you're going to add the 150 grams of butter to the mixing bowl. But instead of just adding the icing sugar this time, we're going to sift it in to make sure it's as fine as possible. It's going to be a lot of icing sugar, but you really need to mix it in there. And the best way to do this is to really push the icing sugar into the butter until it looks a little bit something like this. Then, of course, we're baking festive cakes, so we're going to have some red food colouring. I wanted to get green for the top, but, you know, what can you do? By this time, the cake should ready to be coming out, so what you want to do is pierce them with a sharp knife and make sure that they are cooked. If there's any mixture on the knife, they still need some more time, but if not, put them on the cooling rack and leave them for 15-20 minutes to cool down, then we can start icing them. I'm only doing 4 of mine with icing on because a couple of my flatmates don't really like the icing, and I think that they keep for longer, but they should look a little something like this.
And that's how you make Christmas cupcakes. But hold on, I said with a twist and all that seemed very natural. There's one thing that I forgot to mention.
We are also making slow cooker hot chocolate. It takes about 2¼ hours, and this is what you need. 500 ml of milk, 150 millilitres of double cream, 100 grams of dark chocolate, and 50 grams of milk chocolate. What you want to do is add the 500 ml of milk straight to the pot, where you can then add the 150 millilitres of cream. Then you want to get all your chocolate and break it up into little pieces and add this to the pot too. At this stage, you want to put the heat on low. It will be 2 hours, but halfway through you want to give it a good stir. At the end, give it a good stir again, and then leave it for 20 minutes just to simmer, and you can decorate however you like.
Genuinely, if you put a little bit of Bailey's into that, that is the perfect Christmas drink. Like, no joke. Like, oh my god, it's amazing. This is actually one you should try. It's actually fantastic. Thank you for watching. That is making Christmas cupcakes and making slow cooker hot chocolate. I hope you try them both yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video just a little bit. It was so much work. If this goes well, I'll do it again, but if not, I hope I never ever have to again, because holy crud, there's so much mess. But I loved making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please join me in a couple of days' time for another video on my Advent, and I hope you're having a fabulous day and a fantastic Advent. I will see you soon.